Hey folks, I'm going to open up on a tropical note for today. So the hurricane season has already started in the eastern Pacific, and in the Atlantic, where we're more interested in here in Louisiana, the National Hurricane Center begins issuing outlooks the middle of May, on May 15th. Likewise, in the Eastern Pacific. And that trend is because we've seen such an active early or pre-seasons lately with things starting in May, tropical systems in May, that the Hurricane Center went ahead and said, hey, let's just start in the middle of May in the Atlantic like we do in the Pacific. So here's the first one that I'm going to talk about. We see a good bit of convection there in the Eastern Pacific. Nothing organized. We see nothing in the Gulf and Caribbean except across the far southwest part, and off the East Coast it's pretty good weather. But I got three circles here projecting forward a couple of weeks. Look for something to happen in the Eastern Pacific there. Computer models are long range or ensembles are showing some depressed surface pressures there, meaning low pressure, if you will. And remember, that's what is the basis for tropical systems, this surface low pressure. We're finding another trend possibly in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this doesn't mean there's going to be a system. It just means that computer models are sensitive to this. Usually what happens is it's just an increase in convection or something like that. And something off the southeast coast of the United States, there's a little bit of a signal there. All right, so just want to let you know that we're gearing up for tropical season here at Sunlaw Weather. All right, let's check things back home locally. I'll be talking about over the next several minutes the heat and humidity. It's going to stay a while, but now we see a cold front in the forecast. So how about that little development? All right, so looking at local radar, nothing showing up here in central Louisiana. We see some attempts off to the west for probably most of that's elevated, not reaching the ground. So essentially here in Sinlaw, looks like it'll be a 0% day for us. Satellite and radar looking at Thursday, most of this cloudiness associated near the front to the northwest of us. That is not the front that will be moving through here. There'll be a later one that will come down from the northwest later in the forecast period. And speaking of later in the forecast period, let's start now with our warm and cool bubbles of air. The cool bubbles of air here, warm bubble here. We are feeling that definitely here. So for today, that's what we've got. Now let me project this into the time frame going into Sunday. Notice that we have another blob out to the west, another drop of cool air. Again, remember, this is a deep, cool bubble of air out west. Usually what happens is that brings a weather change as these things are usually progressive and move from west to east. So they're weather makers, okay? And now let me project what's going to happen with that one. As we get into early next week, we see that energy staying to the north of us, but it just does two or three things. First of all, there is a moisture response from the Gulf with that. This pattern creates fronts and some dynamics, some wind dynamics from the flow associated with this system, particularly aloft, can create and trigger rain and thunderstorms along with the front. So I think most of that stays to the north of us, but there's a little bump in the road in the forecast, the early middle part of next week, say in a Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, out of respect for that in my 7-day forecast. By the latter part of next week, all that is to the north of us, and the warm bubble of air continues. What about the cold front? Well, it slips underneath this warm bubble of air. So I'll give some details on that, exactly what kind of effects it'll have in a 7-day forecast. Going forward here for the next couple of days, no issues for Friday morning unless it's the humidity. The humidity is going to be tough. And this is the kind of humidity that you school kids and folks who don't have to get up early in the summer mornings, you'd feel that humidity then. But this humidity that we're having and will have for several more days is every bit as bad as what we have in the middle of summer here in Louisiana. So Friday, PM commute back home, no issues there. It'll just be a warm, muggy day. And then once we get into Saturday, you saw that little model indicating a couple of showers. I do have 10% to keep that covered. That's our Saturday mid-morning grocery shopping forecast for you. And then going into the remainder of Saturday, maybe very hit and miss, certainly mostly miss as I only keep about 10% in. So here are the numbers for you to look at. For Friday, 75 and 75 for Saturday mornings. In fact, that is actually warmer than an average June, July, or August morning here. So that gives you an indication about how warm it's being at night lately, thanks to the humidity. Can't cool off as efficiently at night when it's muggy. So Friday, Saturday, mostly cloudy, 10% on Saturday. Go back to maybe less cloudiness there for Sunday and Monday. Still hot and muggy during the day, muggy at night. And then going into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's that little bump in the forecast there that I talked about with some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. And there will be a little bit of chance. So Tuesday night, and into Wednesday morning. And that's all kind of in play with the front that comes through. And notice that front, it makes a difference, okay? For Wednesday and Thursday, that will take the edge off the heat, and it will cut down the humidity some. So that front is going to be welcome for us, right? Yeah, I think so. Well, that's it from me. Nick Nicholas will see you in the morning, and I'll see you back in the PM hours for tomorrow. And I'll be in the forecast center as well.